story today from a dusty dog-eared book I kept hidden away. And though the ending was not quite a surprise, the story in itself did open my eyes. The tale was the story of a well-meaning artist, somewhat bright but certainly not the smartest, who waved his arms up into the air while everyone ignored him because they didn't care. The villagers themselves were well-meaning people, though some would commit crimes truly unspeakable. They were clever enough to punish this kind of sinning, but the real problems, however, were only just beginning. They find it simple when it was one or a few. In those cases they knew exactly what to do. But when the problem consumed everyone, they abdicated responsibility one by one.
Kicking a can of problems is what we're so used to. Dawn's young will be advised to carry a load. We got a whole lot of can and precious little roses.
In wicked attempts to bring everything into order, the villagers devised an imaginary border, thinking that those that they were to banish would take the problems which also needed to vanish. Every 80 years someone would get an itch, riling everyone up to a high fever pitch. Not long after cool uniforms to wear, specifically designed to give opponents a scare, could no longer distinguish good and evil. All were complicit in the genocide upheaval. You'd be surprised what one can do to another, a sibling, father, or even a once loved mother. After a few years the insanity would end. Signatures on treaties would quickly descend. Yet none of the problems were ever really solved. Maybe a war crimes tribunal to ideally absolved.
You can't get the seldom do. Kicking a can of problems is what we're so used to. Dawn's young will be asked to carry a load. We got a whole lot of can and precious little roses.
The villagers learned their planet was warming because their activities were so damn habit-forming. They developed measures using a twisted mathematic when all they needed was a fix that was pragmatic. It got so bad the people living on the equator, who were bound to get desperate sooner or later, jumped on anything to get them across the border in the hopes of getting asylum through a court order. The people in the village began to worry, arming themselves to the teeth in quite a hurry. We can't have these people coming into the village, taking our jobs, and some say they even rape and pillage. The villagers found someone they thought they could trust. Something about walls was often discussed, but the savior they found was a wolf in sheep's clothing, whose solutions were never worth proposing.
You can get we seldom do. Kicking a can of problems is what we're so used to. Dawn's young will be bet to carry a load. We got a whole lot of can and precious little roses.
Needing help, refugees stormed the border, exposed to a virus made to order, and everyone began to fall to the ground. At first the village leaders barely made a sound. They're used to clashing, this time cooperation, by using each and every bureau's administration. And through hard work they developed a vaccine that knew perfectly well how to read everyone's gene. But some of the villagers resisted in protest, for this novel solution left them rather unimpressed, placing more trust in a thing barely alive than anything their brightest minds could derive. Half the village declared the other half is crazy, but both halves agreed each side was too lazy. If they really worked together, they may have discovered that man-made virus proof could have been
problems is what we're so used to. Don John will be solicited to carry a load. We got a whole lot of can and precious little roses.
The answer was always standing in plain sight. Most failed to see it though, try as they might. The root cause was always excessive calculation while ignoring its impact on the population. Weren't they smart enough to stop and contemplate? Were they too busy to analyze the birth and death rate? Conditioned and trained to breed the next generation, they were the future inhabitants of carbonization nation. A rather stoic group tried to address this problem with enforced rules in the use of a condom, but that did not reach a successful conclusion. Even state propaganda couldn't maintain that illusion. The villagers pointed saying, it's not me, it's them. Each looked to the other to resoundingly condemn. They kept on performing their various behaviors, not solving anything, relying on the savior.
We seldom do. Kicking a can of problems is what we're so used to. Don John will be charged to carry our load. We got a whole lot of can and precious little roses.
The story then took a very concerning turn, because later on we regretfully had to learn that the fruit the village bore as the next iteration could not be counted on after little observation. They behaved indignantly, so that was good, but their unwillingness to change themselves withstood. You see, just like those who came before them, they were convinced their actions weren't the problem. Perhaps a bit more enlightened, it was hard to tell. They could be just as ignorant of their actions as well. Some of the young even had the right stuff. Their solutions though tended to be crude and rough. Some of the young became active in the play, as if inheriting the village was their birthright. But would they risk their lives to protect it? Let's get back to the artist to see if we know yet.
We seldom do. Kicking a can of problems is what we're so used to. Don John will be cooks to carry a load. We got a whole lot of can and precious little roses.
You must be asking how the artist did fare. Everything I told you so far would give anyone a scare, but the artist in the story kept his razor sharp focus, using art to shine a light on village hocus pocus. He knew not to trust any villager's intention. He created songs and videos, a kind of intervention. He became quite good at telling who you couldn't trust, and which proposed solution would dissolve into rust. The villagers did become quite frustrated to have someone unqualified and elated who documented the many errors of their ways into entertained pieces with a fair amount to say. So late one night a mob raided the artist's house, heavily armed yet still quiet as a mouse. They arrested the artist and threw him in jail, with not even a pencil stub to write down his tale.
We seldom do. Kicking a can of problems is what we're so used to. Don John will be coerced to carry a load. We got a whole lot of can and precious little roses.
I took 8 damn chapters to tell the story. Not sure what I was thinking, perhaps an allegory. What value do artists bring to the proceeding? Does anyone value the reading, bleeding, pleading? Should we expect the artist to shoulder the burden, or have they all been assimilated and stirred in? It's difficult to see a problem and wearing blinders. I'm not sure an audience desires reminders. It just takes time for problems to normalize, become something easy to turn blind eyes. But I don't know bliss through ignorance. That's not how it should work. I know the difference. Proceeding with anger, business as usual. I run the risk of becoming delusional. Doubt I'll have an answer on any given day, but I'll keep asking shit till they drag me away.
Plenty of can that we sell into. Kick in a can of problems is what we're so used to. Don Jungle Bee forced to carry a load. We got a whole lot of can and precious little road.